bus itself is a 93 Bluebird Handy Bus, 28 feet long. When I got the bus, it was super cheap. It was $1,000, but it was grown through and just lost to the woods. So we have all old growth redwood, hundreds of years old trees, and I was lucky enough to be able to get enough to do this project. Bus life has been going so well that right now I don't see an end to it, but I imagine that at some point we'll wanna, hey, I'm Kyle and this is my bus, the Redwood Schoolie, and I'm so excited for you guys to come check it out. Come on. I had been building custom homes in Northern California for quite a few years, and many of the old homes out there are made out of a lot of old growth redwood. So I had been picking it up piece by piece and saving it over years for some unknown future project that I was going to do with it. So all this wood that you see in here is all coastal redwood. Welcome to the kitchen. Our ideas for this space were just to have an open feel in here, and also the light coming in from both sides to keep it light in here, and also try to maximize our counter space, which helps so much for cooking. So in the front of the bus here we have a fridge and freezer with the flip up top to access the freezer. We went with the 2-burner gas stove. It's really nice, it's working out really well for us, but if you're thinking about going with this 2-burner gas stove, you just got to keep in mind that because of this space of the 2 burners, it's really more like having a 1-burner stove. And with our goal of maximizing counter space, we've actually put a flip-up tabletop on the other side that matches the height here, so when we're in here cooking we can switch from side to side, do some cutting on one side when cooking's happening over here, things like that. It's been working out perfectly for us. And after we're done cooking and eating, we have a nice deep residential size sink where we do our dishes. And we have 100 gallons of fresh water capacity that lasts us about 2 weeks on the road. And my feeling about water capacity is that you want to try to just have as much water as you can. If I could go back, I would try to find a way without making the weight crazy or without any of that. If I could find the space to put in another 100 gallons, I would have done it. These are just regular Home Depot bought cabinets, nothing special about them. We have about 25 inches of width to our counters here. We have our upper cabinets where we store a lot of our dishes and things like that. And this is the work that I'm probably least proud of in this bus as far as the craftsmanship goes, because we needed an upper cabinet solution. So these are just a table saw and a router out in a gravel lot. But they have been working so good for their purpose, and we were in desperate need of more kitchen storage before I built these. To top it off, behind this little vented cabinet door here is our on-demand propane water heater. This space has actually been working perfect for us. There really isn't anything that I would change. We love the kitchen. When we actually hit the road for the first time, I didn't have the shower finished at that time. There was nothing but open framing in here. So this again was side of the road, buckets, water from the bus's fresh water tank, all the power from the solar, and all this was done out on the road. A lot of sacrifices were made in the space to make this happen. And not only in the bathroom, but in the kitchen and in the bedroom, we really had to think about this and choose to have this shower. The tile is done in the standard residential way. There's hardy backer behind, red guard, thin set tile, just the same as you would do in a house. It's a house fiberglass floor pan from Home Depot. Everything's super standard, and it's been on the road for over a year. So if you're thinking about doing this, I don't think that as long as your walls are solid enough that you need to do anything special with your grout or tile or anything. If it's installed in the standard way, it's been working out perfectly for us. Okay, so on this side we have our mirror and a little bit of basket storage here. Over here we have some upper cabinets, again built on the side of the road, just a table saw and a router. We have a home-built composting toilet here that's working out so well for us, we wouldn't do it any other way. The composting toilet uses the separate top, and the urine diverter is running into our gray tank. And then the solid side of it is just a 3-gallon bucket. When you do a big project like this and you're milling tons and tons of wood, you end up with tons and tons of sawdust. So for our composting toilet, we use the sawdust that came from all of this redwood that I milled, and we have a lifetime supply of this waiting for us to use. If you're wondering how we get some privacy in here, we do have a barn door that's made out of a piece of acacia butcher block, and it's all been working out really great. When I got the bus, it was super cheap. It was $1,000, but it was grown through and just lost to the woods at that time. So it was a lot of work to get it back to a safe, highway drivable state. Throughout the build, we've probably spent about $20,000 on this. Having the redwood in here is so special because this is not something that you can purchase. And if you were able to find some that was for sale, the price is just up to whoever's trying to sell it. And I've seen prices on some of this old growth redwood that is astronomical. Would have tripled or 4x'd our budget on this thing if I had to buy all this stuff. Overall, with all the money we put in the bus, probably is right around $25,000, and it's working out incredibly for us. We're totally comfortable in here, and we would do it again in a heartbeat. So you may have noticed that there's no seating area in the front of our bus. It's all kitchen up there, and we decided to move the seating area to be back here with the bed. But the drawback of it is that when you have guests over and when people come and see your bus, having that seating area in the front really makes it feel welcoming. People don't have to come so far in order to sit down and have a conversation, and it really makes people feel more comfortable when the seating area is closer to that front door. This is the bedroom. We have the raised platform bed. We have our water and battery storage underneath. And then we have some totes and some storage here in the front. And then right behind the door here is where we throw our dirty laundry. We have a big drawer here underneath our couch where we store all of our clothes. The back wall here with our wall sconces gives us really good nighttime light. Those are kind of our dim lights for when we're just back here chilling and reading. All throughout the summer, we're able to run our AC all day long. We have 1,800 watts of solar panels up top, and that's what allows that to work out for us. We've got our couch right here next to it, and this just draws the space together as a cool place to hang out, and we still have a pretty open layout here. No closets, no upper cabinets, so it's a big space, and we would not do it another way. We really love this setup.
Oh, sorry to pause your video for a second. One thing while you're traveling you want to make sure is clean is your water. Come on in while I show you what solution we found. While traveling, you come across many different types of water sources, and sometimes they can be a little bit sketchy. We came across the water drop countertop reverse osmosis water system, and we were really excited about this because there was no installation that is needed. So right on the front screen here, it has 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 16, 20, and all the way up to 999 ounces if you want to run and fill a large container of filtered water. The other option is a variety of temperatures from 64 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 203 degrees. While traveling and you want some clean water, I'd recommend this countertop reverse osmosis system for your travelers. You can get it on waterdropfilter.com. All right, and now back to that tour.
So we have all old growth redwood window trims, hundreds of years old trees, and I was lucky enough to be able to get enough to do this project. And as I was saving this old growth up in order to do this project, right at the end, right when I felt like I had just about enough old growth, a tree got struck by lightning in our front yard, and we were able to pull it down, mill it up, and then that gave me the opportunity to do all this redwood tongue and groove. So as a finishing touch to all my old growth redwood trim, I had to have a way to attach these blocks into the framing of the bus, which is really best done by a very ugly screw. So I had a local blacksmith make these special washers and lags. These actually do not hold the redwood to the framing of the bus, but they're there to hide the ugly screw that does. The thing about it that's so special to me, And the thing that like brings the feeling together is to visit the actual redwood groves that are still around and hiking around, and just the magic that's in those places, the feel of being around all of these huge trees, and just knowing that I was able to pull it together into this space. I just feel so fortunate to have it in here. The feeling of this space, knowing what this is and how magical it is, it just lights me up every time I see it. Before Bus Life, my partner Jenna and I were living in a medium-sized apartment with a lot of stuff, and she was working on her PhD at Oregon State University, and it's such a big and stressful push in order to make that achievement and get your PhD, and it's so stressful to do. And so we always knew that we were going to take some time off. We were looking for a van. We considered building a van, but the bus ended up just falling into our laps. One of my friends had it and offered it to me because he knew that I was looking for a van to build. And so we're looking for a van and ended up with a 28-foot bus. Did the roof raise, thousands and thousands of rivets, so much work into it. A bigger project than I thought it would be, but so achievable for everybody to do. It really is doable on your own. This is our standing desk setup that just uses a standard adjustable keyboard mount that you could find anywhere. The screen is mounted with just a standard monitor wall mount, and it rides fine up there. We haven't had any issues with it. This is kind of our catch-all. When we're coming in the door, throw whatever we need there. I have the original napkin drawing of my first layout for the bus hanging up here. Then on this side, we just have a shelf with power. We have all of our little pens and everything that we need when we're working at the standing desk here. Continuing up here are upper cabinets. This area is just for all office type stuff that helps us when we're working here. Having the standing desk area up here was a bit of an afterthought because we were trying to pack it in somewhere in our floor layout, but having it up here hasn't been a hindrance at all. It's been working so good for us up here, and it really just keeps it out of the way and keeps the kitchen area open and just keeps the feel more free and open air in here. In the back of the bus here, we have our AC condenser up top, mounted up top. Solar panels help to shade it. Shading your AC condenser, if you're going to go with a mini split, will help you to get a little bit better efficiency out of it. If that thing's hanging out in the sun all day, it's going to be working a little bit harder. We do not have access to our bus from the back door here. Instead, this is where all of our solar components are mounted. And our battery bank, which is under the bed, is 10 kilowatts of storage. We have 1,800 watts of solar panels up top. We have a 48 volt, 3,000 watt all-in-one inverter, which is more of something that you might find in an off-grid cabin build rather than a bus, but it's working out really well for us, and it just gives us the freedom to not worry about power. We run our AC all day and we never think about power. Every time I've come out here to check our battery bank, it's been 99% or 100%. I rarely see it come off of that during the day. Last but not least, we have 10 gallons of propane storage. If you're wondering what size your propane storage should be, I would recommend going a little smaller. You don't need 40 gallons of propane. This 10 gallons of propane running our stovetop and our water heater has lasted us over 6 months between fills. Living in a bus on the road is the perfect opportunity to revisit yourself. You're going to spend a lot of time in a small place. Your surroundings are going to be different all the time, and the things that stay consistent in this lifestyle are the people that are around. There's 2 of us here living in the bus, and it really narrows your frame of view, and you can really start to notice the things that you might want to change about yourself and the ways that you want to improve. And it's a good way to focus on things like that, just to minimize everything else that's going on so that you can focus on your own growth. Bus life has been going so well that right now I don't see an end to it, but I imagine that at some point we'll want to get a little bit more stationary so that we can do other things that we've developed interests in after, you know, just seeking and coming into contact with all these new ideas for us. Like, we would love to have a piece of land so that we can grow bigger gardens, things like that, and enjoy the beauty and the security of a single space for ourselves. So I do imagine an end to bus life, but maybe it can still be around, and use it more like an RV at that time. But for me right now, this is working out so good. We don't see an end in sight anytime soon. Thank you all for watching, and if you'd like to see more of this bus, check it out on Instagram at the Redwood Schoolie. And if you have any questions, if you're building a bus, you can message me on there anytime. I'll get back to you, I'll help you, I'll give you all the ideas and all the experience. I'll pass it along to you, just like the bus lifers that came before passed these ideas on to me. I'll see you on the road.